You are listening to Inspired Caring with Michelle Magner, episode number 103. Hello, welcome to Inspired Caring. I'm your host, Michelle Magner. If you are caring for an older family member, this is the podcast for you. Each week, I bring insight, tips, inspiration, and strategies to help you care for the people that you love without losing yourself along the way. Having cared for both of my grandmothers, I've helped manage everything from hospital stays, households full of belongings, to navigating senior living and end-of-life care. And I've worked in senior living as a result of that experience, serving my residents and their families as they've been on this journey too. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Inspired Caring. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It is June. We are halfway through the year. It is summertime, and I hope you are finding some fun, some sunshine, some reprieve, some rest, some self-care. We just got back from a family trip to Custer State Park in beautiful South Dakota in the Black Hills. This area is just gorgeous, and it reminds me a little bit of Lake Tahoe, where we have vacationed with our family many times over the years. We are tent campers and just have a lot of fun with all of our gear, equipment, cooking out. My husband has upgraded so many things over the years to make it an easier experience for us. And I'm grateful. I think we are now sleeping on cots. Cots. I never thought I'd be that person, but I'm so happy. I am so happy that we have these great cots to sleep on. I get a great night's sleep. I have been thinking lately about what thought processes have served me over the years, not just as a family caregiver, but in all of my relationships and all of the activities, things I do in my life, my career, education. And just generally, one of the biggest standouts is I'm open to the idea. So something as simple as our camping equipment, back in the day, 2-3 decades ago, would just sleep with the sleeping bag on the floor of the tent, and then got myself a little rollout mat. And that changed things, changed it up. And then most recently, we have cots. And not only do we have cots, we have these really thick pads that go on top of the cots. So just being open to the idea, not being fixed in my ways. And let's be honest, I will be honest with you, I have not always been generally open to the idea. And even now, I don't always get there as quickly in some areas as I do in others, nor do I get there quickly on some days as maybe I do on others. For example, my husband has been wearing hiking boots for years, and I would be in sneakers. And I was just really, really adamant that my sneakers were fine. They worked. They got me to the top of the hill and back down. And then one day I tried on a pair of hiking boots, and it has completely changed my hiking experience. I mean, it was actually not a fight, not a point of contention, but it was like an actual conversation that we would have year after year, where I would insist that my way, how I was doing it, the equipment I was using was sufficient. It was just fine for me. And then eventually I got to this idea of I'm open to the idea that hiking boots would be better, maybe, on a hike. So just generally being open to the idea. And of course, ever since I've owned hiking boots, I just haven't looked back. I had a friend say to me once, you can be right or you can have peace. And I have really taken that to heart and have subsequently seen a variation of that over the years. So, in general, I just really like this concept of I'm open to the idea and want to share a little bit more with you about it. And this is something for sure that I have grown into because, as we all know, many of us, all of us, grow up thinking and believing that things are a certain way. And I know as an adult that you recognize that maybe things don't have to be a certain way as you did when you were a kid. We all have our own belief systems that are handed to us as kids. And for a long, long time, we stick with those until we gather new information, we educate ourselves, we grow, we have different people in our life. And as those people around us and all of that processing is happening, our thought processes and beliefs may shift. And it is so shocking to me that most of our beliefs are locked in by age 7. 7. And your beliefs are just thoughts that you are practicing over and over and over again. So I think about who is in my life around those tender young ages. I am so grateful for the love and wisdom I had around me at that time. It really helped lock in, I think some good thought patterns and beliefs. I'm open to the idea that there's more. Upon reflection, I still feel like I think that I had some really good foundational things. Okay, so going through a little list of things that I'm just open to the idea of that I want to invite you to consider in whatever your current situation is with the people in your life. So the first one is I'm open to the idea of being wrong. My kids know how much I love to hear the 3 words, you are right. But the bottom line is that sometimes I'm not right. Yikes and ouch. The reality is, our memories don't always serve us. So the way I remember something may be different than the way you remember something. And I've taken to actually saying as I remember it, because quite frankly, maybe I am just remembering something differently. There is a great series on Netflix, or used to be, on the mind. And there was an episode on remembering things. And they talked about this girl who remembers September 11th in a very specific way because her mom worked in the city. And of New York, of course. And the researchers said her recount, the way she remembered things, actually there was no way that it could be correct because of what she said she saw from her classroom window and where her classroom was located in the building of her school. So just being open to the idea of being wrong is something that can be kind of liberating. Okay, I'm open to the idea of apologizing. It is really, really hard to apologize to someone. And in my past, and I'm not saying it wouldn't come up again, but I would feel really embarrassed, ashamed, or defensive if I had done something to hurt someone. And it's especially hard if I don't see the situation the way they saw it or remember it. But if someone is coming to you and saying that you have hurt them, I'm being open to the idea of apologizing in a genuine way can really be a game changer because people's perception is their reality. And this is especially true for people with dementia. But your customers, family members, friends, everyone If someone has felt hurt by my actions, even if I feel like it's just a misunderstanding, I don't need to go to embarrassed, ashamed, or defensive. I'm open to the idea of saying I'm sorry because I value the relationship, and I'm open to the idea that they were truly hurt by me and that I want to make amends. This actually happened to me. I had someone bring something up from like a couple years ago, and they shared that it really hurt them, the words I had said. And in that moment, I was so glad I was able to have the wherewithal of just offering a genuine apology, because it was hard for me to imagine I the words they shared with me had come out of my mouth, and I was just open to the idea that that had happened, and I didn't mean for it to be harmful. So, open to the idea of apologizing. I'm open to the idea that I am enough. I was born enough. I showed up on this planet perfect and whole. It was the world around me that told me otherwise, and my little tender heart believed it. And now I have more of a sense or feeling that I'm a soul here, just having a human experience. And I am enough. I'm open to the idea of that, that my life is a series of create your own adventure books with different paths. And I don't need to take a path. The path I choose has nothing to do with making me enough or helping me feel like enough. It has nothing to do with that. I'm open to the idea that I just am enough, and I'm just creating my life from different paths that I'm taking. So powerful. I am open to the idea of deserving something more or better. For 4 years as a late teen, early 20 something, I was in a very abusive relationship off and on. And I had to stair step into the healthy relationship that I have today. I went from just completely dysfunctional to more physically and emotionally safe, but still unstable, to this supportive, loving relationship that I have created and developed today. So just being open to the idea of deserving something more or better. This is definitely stemming from being a people pleaser. Whatever I needed to do was what I got done to survive whatever situation I was in. And just being open to this idea that I deserve something more or better. And obviously, so do you. All right, this is a doozy. I'm open to the idea that I don't know what's best for others. Even if something feels obvious to me, just having that little separation of understanding that other people are on their own life journey. They too came into the world whole and perfect, and the world has told them otherwise. Other people have so many things in their lives that I don't know about or understand. And it can be really challenging, especially when you're watching someone implode their life and they're suffering and they're in pain. And especially challenging if there are children involved. As a coach, this is a skill that gets fine tuned because each of us has such complex lives, and there's so many nuances to each of our lives. I've had so many people say to me, I've never told this to anyone before. Each of us has an inner knowing, and we don't know what's best for other people in every scenario. We have an inner knowing, an inner compass, and we have the answers inside of us. It's a matter of surrounding ourselves with people that can help us draw that out. draw out our inner knowing, fine tune it, re-tap into it. And some souls are further down this path of tapping into their inner knowing and gaining that next level of enlightenment. And I don't get to decide who takes a step to help themselves or when. But I can be here for those when they're ready, and hope to continue to surround myself with people who can help me. I think about people who are further down this path and they're watching me bumble along. So I'm open to this idea that I don't know what's best for others, which leads to my last one, which is I'm open to the idea that there may be a different way to do something. There may be a different way to worship, to love, to celebrate, to complete a task. I have friends, best friends that are Jewish, Muslim, atheist, and I am a Christian, and I have a lot of curiosity around Buddhism. Sometimes there's just my way to do something and other people's way to do something. Not necessarily right or wrong, right? I'm open to this. And while my brain is wired to approach things in a certain way, it doesn't mean that I'm right and others are wrong. And admittedly, this can be an area of struggle for me. It's like scratching an itch. If you see someone completing a task in a way that's different than how you would do it, I mean, something as benign as emptying the dishwasher or loading the dishwasher, right? I mean, it's almost like a scratch that needs itching, and it's hard to imagine not scratching an itch. But if there's an actual physical draw to do something a certain way, you almost have to walk. I almost have to walk away or just not watch it be completed, whatever that task is. So we all have different strengths, skills, points of view, angles, and approaches to things. And I may feel steadfast that my way is easier, but if what I want are clean dishes, it doesn't matter how the dishwasher is loaded. My mother-in-law would come and help me fold laundry, and she would ask me how I wanted my shirts folded. So generous. Oh my gosh. A, that she would come over and help with that, and then B, ask how I wanted something done. Well, first of all, I was so grateful to have some help that I just didn't care. And second of all, I actually liked the way she folded shirts better. So, keeping the end in mind, hopefully we can agree, get on the same page about the end goal, but how we get there just makes a little bit less of a difference. You can be right or you can have peace. Is that something you want to expend energy on? How the dishwasher is loaded? Just think about it. And there are so many opportunities for conflict when it comes to family caregiving and just in life with our children, our marriages, our coworkers. So I hope this episode just gave you some food for thought or inspired you to consider being open to the idea too. Being open to the idea. I love you and I see you, and you are doing a great job. Keep up the great work.